So after the long molt, we're finally back to hunting now with Giselle. And this video is her first week back at hunting, and so I'm playing the clips sort of in order from the beginning of week to the end of the week. And I'm going to go over a couple things here. This is the very first video I took when we first started hunting, and you can see that she's not sitting the fist very well. She keeps flying off to perches that are close by. She also doesn't want to step up, and when I do get her to step up, she's not really hanging out for a long time. But for me, that's all okay. This is an opportunity to start working on her conditioning and start getting her muscle back. So you can see here, normally she steps up pretty well, but she keeps jumping off when she does that. And it gives us an opportunity to sort of shake out the cobwebs and get back out into the fields and see how the hunting fields are doing and kind of gauge where she's at. So I don't mind her flying off so much in these initial stages. It gives me an opportunity to work on the things that I need to work on, like recall and coming back to the fist or coming back to the tidbit or calling to the lure. So I don't go out the first week back in the season really expecting to kill anything. If I wanted to, I might dial her weight down a little bit more, but I like to kind of start her heavy and start to build up muscle. And I'll end up hunting her around 865 or maybe even pulling her down to a closer weight, or lower weight, I should say. And then by the end of the season, she'll be hunting 50 to 100 grams heavier than that. And you can see in these clips, what I'm showing is just her flying off into the trees and not really sitting the fist. I don't really like to hold jesses on my hawks. I like them to have an opportunity to choose where they want to go, when they want to go there. And I find that it makes them less afraid. And so in this way, if there's a tractor that pops up or something like that, she tends to react to it a little less strongly. So I let her fly off. It's an opportunity for me to work on recall and work on getting her to sit the fist without holding on to the jesses too much. So in these clips, I'm working on just recalling her to a thrown tidbit on the ground. And you'll see that when she comes up to me, I throw the tidbit off, and there she is grabbing it. Here's another example of that. This is how I start off the recall to get her to come back to me initially. And I do that partially because she responds best to this. And then later on when we are hunting, if I do want her to follow me, follow on from tree to tree or move her position to a better place, if I'm not hunting her from the fist for some reason, then I can just wave my hand like I'm doing in here, and she'll come over. And instead of throwing a tidbit, I'll wave my hand and start walking in the direction I want to go. And it's basically like gesturing her to come over and be a little closer. I'll do that if I've kind of marked a rabbit, and I'll get her to come over near me or closer to me into a better spot. So this is just how I recall her to a tidbit that's thrown. And I did this in her first season only. I never called her to the fist in the first season just to avoid any aggression. And it worked really well. But you'll see now I'm going to move on to recalling her to the fists for tidbits. And again, I avoided this in her first season when she was a young bird because I didn't want to initiate any kind of aggressive response to the fist. But it does help to reinforce that the fist is really the best hunting perch. And you can see here she's not really coming to me, and I make the classic error that most people do, and I walk closer to her and keep calling her, and basically she's just training me to get closer to her to give her the tidbit. So I do this initially because it's pretty much the very first time after the molt that I'm calling her to the fist, and so I just need to kind of remind her what this is all about when we're in the field. And you'll see in the following two clips, she starts to come back a little bit quicker and respond a little bit quicker to this. And so it is helpful once you're in hunting mode to really get your bird to hang out on your hand on your gloved hand. And I'm hunting in some pretty dense brush and chaparral out here. And so it is very helpful for the bird to be right with you, because they don't get much of an opportunity to catch a rabbit as they're running in between bushes, being that it's a goshawk in direct pursuit. So now that that's improved, now here's a bunch of clips of her initial flights on rabbits. And what you'll notice is that she's not trying very hard. She sort of has this butterfly floating type of flying pattern. She's throwing up once they go into a bush, but she's not coming back down and crashing hard like right there. She's kind of just going and landing. And in the middle of the season, when she is really in hunting mode, she will crash a brush after she has done a throw up like that. And so these are all just the initial flights during the first week. She gets 10 to 15 flights in an hour-long hunting session, approximately. And she didn't catch any rabbits in her first week. But as we moved on, she was kind of picking up speed. Here's a really good one. She avoided the barbed wire, thankfully, and then she comes back on the rabbit that was coming towards me, and then missed it. But you can see now she's kind of putting on a little more speed, putting on a little more maneuverability here, really making an effort. And at this point also, she's getting in better condition. She's in a little bit better shape, and she's getting closer and closer to grabbing a rabbit, and it's just a matter of time before she does that. So here's sort of a full example when I pick her up off the ground of kind of walking through the brush with her and what it is that I'm trying to do, and crashing through the brush and getting something to pop up nearby. And here's a little chase right there. And in the next clip, this was the closest she got this week to catching something, and then I'll do a slow-mo clip of it. But you can see now it's only a matter of time before she really does catch something. So in the next video that I put out, it's going to be all of her catches, and I'll go through those one by one so you can see how I trade her off. Thanks for watching.